Journalist Jawn Murray is a journalist. He joins me now from Washington. It's great to see you, Jawn. It's been a minute. I just wanted to see what you made of the turnout, the messaging that we saw today on this anniversary.
Michael, I think it's an amazing thing that people were willing to risk their lives and come together and peacefully protest and chant Black Lives Matter because they are sick and tired of being sick and tired of all the racial unrest and the social injustice happening in our country. People are chanting for Black Lives and Black Lives Matter because they're tired of every other week we see some unarmed Black man or woman be shot and some killed by the police. When we know that liberty and justice should apply to all, but it doesn't seem to apply to us. And so people are speaking out, and this doesn't seem like a moment. When this first started happening earlier this year, people said, is it a moment or is it a movement? This is a movement. These voices are loud and they want change.
Well, you see, that was going to be my next question. I mean, 57 years after the MLK Jr. speech, is there a sense that any real ground is being made? You've got the police shootings, they continue, other incidents continue as well. All of that despite the protest, despite the broad-based outrage. Are you optimistic of actual real change happening? Do you see it happening?
Well, Michael, I'm of the age that, the first time I think I voted was one of the Clinton elections. That's when I really got connected to the process. And so I'm supposed to be someone who has on rose-colored lenses. I'm supposed to be someone that bought into the idea that Barack Obama presidency eradicated racism and things were supposed to be changed. I used to give my mom and my friends and my aunts that were older than me a hard time when they would talk about civil rights and they would speak about racism, because I would say, well, that's what your generation went through. I never thought I'd be seeing a lot of this in my generation. So what Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and the great John Lewis fought for, it definitely created a foundation of change. But what we have seen in this country, particularly the last few years, I genuinely believe it is a white lashing, or a black lash to Barack Obama being president of the United States. We are reverting back. But the difference between this generation and our ancestors is that we are going to be more vocal, we're going to be louder, and we have technology on our side, and we're determined to make sure that this change moves forward and doesn't go back again.
I listened to a lot of what was said Friday in Washington, and speakers talking of two justice systems that are still in play. What the world saw happen to Jacob Blake versus the police ignoring the armed man who just shot 3 people at the protests that followed. He went home. How Dylan Roof was treated after the Charleston church shootings when police took him for a hamburger. How frustrating is that for people of colour?
It's really frustrating, Michael, because what we see is you see someone like Tucker Carlson, who we know is on a network that allowed him to hire a white supremacist to be his hit writer on his show, saying that 17-year-old murderer, Kyle Rittenhouse, did something that the local authorities couldn't do. You see someone like Megyn Kelly, a disgraced journalist who's had her own racial insensitivities, say something like, well, Jacob Blake, they say he had a knife on him. They always move the goalposts when it comes to black people in situations like this. But then you have Dylan Roof, who, in addition to showing up and massacring 9 people at a church, was taken in without incident and taken by Burger King to get a sandwich on his way to jail. That's the challenges that we have. And not just with that, but you see people, black people have been fundamentally connected to the Christian faith. And so we see evangelicals like Paula White and Rod Parsley, who have built their ministries and their wealth on the backs of black people, align themselves with these racists and this hatred because they're not considered about black humanity or black Americans. They're only concerned with going to Bank of America. And so it's all of the infrastructure, the systematic inequities, the inabilities to get equal opportunities in work and things that everyone is tired. Watching the NBA take such a profound stance and say, we're not going to entertain you. We're not just going to be your sports escapism when we're being killed, and a bold stand that shook the core of America. We need more movements like that because people need to know this cannot continue on, Michael.
Well, if hopefully the momentum leads to substantive change, that's what's needed. Jawn Murray, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Anytime you need me, I'm here for you, Michael.